Welcome to the Spike Camp podcast. Spike Camp is a free online community for hunters that support conservation. It's a great place to share stories and your experience with other hunters. As a member of Spike Camp, you get access to all of our hunting live streams, discussion channels, contests, hunter resources, and events that we host. Membership to Spike Camp is free. Our only ask is that you are a member of a hunting or conservation group before you register. Head over to spikecamp.com to join us. This episode of the Spike Camp podcast is brought to you in part by Precision Optics. Omer and his team are the ones to trust when it comes to mountain hunting gear, guns, and optics. Precision Optics is a major supporter of conservation, and we are proud to partner with them. Head over to precisionoptics.net and tell them that Spike Camp sent you.
Well, welcome to Spike Camp. Tonight we have a very special episode of our Ram Down series. We've got Omer and Jackson from Precision Optics on tonight to share the story of Jack's first ram taken this past season. We're pretty excited to hear about this one. I remember when I got the text message, the first thing I noticed, second thing I noticed, first of all, it was a great ram. Second of all was the smile on your face, Jack. It was awesome. The picture says it all. It was awesome.
That's rare.
Exactly. And the other reason we have you guys on the show tonight, coincidentally, is to announce the winner of the 2025 Story of the Year contest. Precision Optics is the machine behind this giveaway. You guys donated a really cool rifle. It's a Fierce Rogue, Carbon Rogue, and 7 Backcountry with a Burris Veracity scope, which I think I would need a degree in technology to figure that thing out, but Brecken says it's actually pretty easy and a pretty cool scope.
Yeah.
And we'll circle back to that towards the end of the show, but for now, welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Good to have you on. So you guys have both been having some health issues, and I hope things are going well. You guys are on the mend. I hope you're not going to get off the camera and leg wrestle around or anything like that. Or
No,
not today. All right. Well, let's start off with this, Omer. I was on the website the other day and I sent you a message. I noticed that you've picked up some new lines, some new brands of rifles and stuff. And like every time I go on your website, there's more and more listings of company names, not just for guns, but for gear and all kinds of stuff. So why don't you take a couple minutes and give us an update on what you guys have been up to and what's going on with Precision Optics?
Sure. Jack can tell you the rifle brands that we're adding this year.
Quite a few. We're adding Seekins, which we've already gotten the first shipment of that in. Tenacity, Altera, Bergera. I think those are the main 4 that we're primarily going to be bringing in, and that we've made large commitments on for 2026. But
Jack's been laboring on working on the bookings, which is always it's a real toil. Some brands are fairly easy, but there's big volume, and then other brands, there's so many, the colorways and the variations. And I know he went through 3 iterations of, the booking for Gunworks, because we ordered quite a few of those, but they're significant in each rifle and package. So he was just like, he's kind of cursing across the office, and it's like, I'm doing this the 3rd fucking time, but he's incredibly thorough in balancing it. The one that's honestly probably the most exciting for us is Tenacity, just because of what it is and what it represents. And they've been amazing so far. So we have a lot of those rifles coming in. And for those that don't know what a Tenacity is, a Tenacity is owned by Bob Beck, who owns Macmillan and Defiance Actions. And so it is a rifle that has a Defiance anti-X action, a Proof Research barrel, a Defiance side port brake, and a Macmillan Mountain Tracker stock, and a Trigger Tech trigger. And it's put together at what is like a very accessible price for those ingredients. Like those are all best in class ingredients for building a wonderful custom. And I see our friend Donnie is on, and he's very familiar with defined actions and proof barrels. He's built a system or two, so he knows how good those are.
Yeah.
And then of course, Seekins, Altera, and Bergera are great names. We're also adding a bunch of actions, right, Jack?
Yep. A lot of components.
Yeah, we're getting heavy in the components. Paul Donaldson at Snowy Mountain is going to be delivering a number of his actions. He's building actions in house, as well as his barrel blanks and prefits, Macmillan stocks, Gunworks stocks, and XLR stocks, of course, Defiance actions, and then we're really blowing up the outdoor gear this year, adding some boot brands and some clothing lines. Yeah, it's really exciting. Looking forward to going through all that and working our butts off, right, son?
Yes.
As always. Yeah.
Well, that's something you guys are used to, is the hard work. I mean,
sorry,
you just got to step in.
Kia, I'll explain my new haircut as described by my son at some other time. I don't know if it's appropriate for the podcast, for this live stream, but yeah, I went from an epic mullet to well, I walked in from the haircut and I had a hell of a mullet. Like, I'd grown my hair long.
You did.
And I decided, okay, well, so Garrick, one of my good friends, his wife cuts my hair, and she's just like, I was just joking about a mullet, and she's like, I'm giving you a rank mullet. I'm like, oh, what's a rank mullet? She's like, it's what all the hockey do. So she did it, and I was just like, and everyone was just like, it's amazing how many people got enjoyment out of my mullet. So anyway, I got it all cut off because it was enough, and I walk in the office, just sit there for 5 minutes, and Jack's like, wow, Dad, that's great. That looks like what did you call it?
I'm not gonna say it on live.
It wasn't very flattering, to say the least.
Yeah, that mullet could have had its own Instagram page. It really could have.
I should have cashed in on that. We'd gain more followers than we do with our firearms page. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff. I have a question for you. So I saw somebody, I'm not going to name names, but I don't even want to call him an influencer, but someone in our space made a comment on social media last week about rifles, and I kind of sat back and it rocked me a little bit. But basically what he said was, you've got all these brands, a lot of the brands that you listed on, when your intro here about the store, coming up with these mid-range price rifles, not your $1,200 Cabela special and not your $10,000 Gunworks. I made a comment that, it's just, lipstick on a pig kind of thing. And I took that back and I went, wait a minute, I don't think you've ever actually handled or shot any of those firearms that are in that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range, because they're not lipstick on a pig, right? Like the most common rifle that you see on the mountain today, probably across the board, is going to be a Tikka T3, right? Like everybody packs them, right? Yeah, and if it's if it's a lower, like the lower end of the budget rifle system, a Tikka fits that no problem. And I've had Tikkas, I still have them, I love them. But I don't think you can compare the overall rifle system of a Tikka model to something like, like the new ones that you mentioned, right? The Tenacity, the Seekins, any of that. Like, I think it's the opposite. I think you're getting what would be considered a few years ago as the ultra high-end rifle, or the tip of the iceberg on a high-end rifle, and you're getting it for 2/3 of the price or half the price, right?
You are absolutely right, Chuck.
All the money there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would never look, we never know who's calling when we want to put together a system. We don't know what their background is. We get surprised all the time by, like the people that we get to deal with, and it's usually a pleasant surprise. But we try to push the envelope, and we like to carry things in sort of a segment that people lust for, frankly. And the Tikka is what the REM 700 was, 10 years ago, right? It's an absolute workhorse, and nothing wrong with it at all. But by the same token, there are people that go to restaurants, nice restaurants, and they will never order a steak in a restaurant, and they will never order anything over a certain price level. And then they, that doesn't diminish the appreciation other people have for that end of the menu. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's who we look for. I mean, I know, people are entitled to their opinions. All I can tell you is that my phone and my memory mansion is chock full of, I call it, they're gunships. They're like friendships, but like they're like relationships forged over the sale of a firearm, where someone is just absolutely ecstatic as to how it performs and what they've done with it. And it's no different than, if you were to like, look, do you want to buy a Ford XLT or do you want the King Ranch, right? Like, what do you want? So, yeah, I'm not gonna get on someone for that. That's a fair comment. And but at the same time, I know people that have stepped up in the gun game and never looked back. And then, and the other side of this is, and I say this all the time, Ricky, that was the very first mountain rifle that I ever bought for myself in a 7 Rem Mag. And one of my good friends still owns that rifle and he won't get rid of it because what it meant to me back then and actually how fucking accurate it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
So great comment there. But where was I going with that? What was I saying? That's my old age taking over. No, people are entitled to what they want to believe, and we're not going to get on them for that. But at the same time, when you do step into these better rifles, there are physics and workmanship at play, and they matter.
Yeah, exactly. And you look back in time of rifles, we could talk about guns all night, and we will on another show for sure. But no, that's the thing. I think you hit it on the head when you said the menu at a nice restaurant, right? And you could say arguably that most restaurants would have a variation in price on the menu and a variation on the dinner, like you said. And literally, when someone phones your shop, oh, there you go. Where am I going with this? Johnny's cracking up. That's why you gotta love live, eh? This is the best part. Yeah, you never know. Don, I had Don over here last weekend. We're all going to Africa. Gary Flock and Don and my wife and our wives were heading to Africa, so we're having an Africa planning party. And holy shit, dude, my ribs were sore from laughing after 4 hours with those guys. I don't know what it's going to be like with after a week, but anyway, the point is back to my point about precision. And I'm not just saying this because you guys gave us a gun to give away, but because we've been all friends for a long time and you guys have been great supporters. And I spend my money in your store, and lots of people on this show tonight do. And if they don't, they should. But you can phone and talk to either one of you guys and tell them what you're looking for, tell you what they are looking for. And you guys now have the ability to literally design it exactly the way they want with dozens of choices, right? Which is really, really cool. And I like the fact that you're not pushing a certain brand, you're not pushing a certain model. It's fair. And, that's one of the coolest things about dealing with you guys is it's an honest answer. And thank you for that in today's day and age, by the way.
What's really cool, Chuck, is that like you are like ubiquitous in kind of like my family's life in a way, because my dad was dealing with you and then my brother was dealing with you in a completely different environment, different stratosphere, ecosphere. And you're like a master and commander in that world, right? And then now you're transitioning into retirement, and then here you are dealing in like another part of our business.
It's crazy.
And your enjoyment, and just you're doing in this space what you did in the one that you're transitioning from. So I think that's pretty damn cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
I wish that Enver was more of a hunter, just because he would see the full rainbow here. But we'll get him. We'll convert him eventually.
Well, if he was a hunter, do you think we could keep him quiet enough, long enough to sneak in on something? That would be my only concern.
Trying
Is
to
getting him
get
to go in a
well
straight
fed,
line, right? Well, it's not fair. We can't take shots at Enver. He's not here to defend himself. But
It's fine.
I know you guys do it. I know you guys do anyway. But that's okay. So, all right. Well, awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear you guys are growing like crazy and adding more product lines and becoming the do-all, end-all store for our space. And looking forward to see what happens this year. So let's talk sheep hunting. This year, I know it's been, Omer, for you, it's been a few years since you've been on a sheep hunt for a variety of reasons, right? Couple of years.
For sure.
Tell me about the decision, how you guys built up this plan to take Jack out on his first sheep hunt. He'd been on some mountain hunts with you, right? I knew that from before.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm not the easiest dad. I'm not the easiest boss for sure. But I never forced hunting on or shooting on Jack ever. I just kind of wanted it to sort of infuse into him, just based on the people that are kind of in our orbit and just what we do. And it was 2024 that he actually came on the first goat hunt. So he came with me and my friend Benno, and we went on a Stewart goat hunt, which is kind of like getting thrown in shark infested waters, learning to swim. And the coolest part of it, it's a very intimidating environment for anyone that's been there. And I wanted to scout ahead. It was super foggy, but I wanted to sort of check just the ground and see if it broke a little bit above. So I just told him and Ben to hang there, and Ben's always hung over, so he's like, no problem. And I didn't want Jack coming with me at the time, and I was like actually pretty laid up, but I started scampering up the alder and pulling myself up some pretty steep shit, and I don't know, went for a few hundred yards, and then I just kind of stopped, take a breath, and I turned around, and then this guy's right behind me, and he's just like, and then he looks at me like, oh shit. And I'm just like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, you're okay up here? He's just like, yeah. And most grown men who've hunted and stuff, I bring them there and they get freaked out right away. So that was like a really good sign, and that hunt went well. And then we started planning for a sheep hunt, because Ben he hasn't tagged out yet, and he's a very success oriented guy, and so we just started going down the fun rabbit hole. I mean, I've done it. It's great when you can sit back and think about doing the gear quest and figuring it out when there was very little to figure out. I always joke about this. I was there when like Mystery Ranch was really the only true pack that you could buy for hunting, and Sitka came out with their very first line of camo, which was called the 90% gear, which is like having, when I think back on it, I just laugh. It's like, that's like having, a parachute that is 90% effective, rain gear that's 90% waterproof. And that's exactly what that shit was. And we hunted with it, and we're like, wow, I'm fucking freezing. And I'm like, but I sure love my $500 jacket. It sure looks good, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have the options back then, but we loved it actually even more. So it was great. I mean, we like me and Jack and Ben, we all kind of go off in our corners and figure out what we want. There's no consensus, like there's no approval seeking. Everybody finds out what they want the best. And if he wants to run something completely different, I'm not like, why are you running that? We sell this or we do that, right? It's like whatever you want the most. What I was most concerned about was his shooting, which we started, our range extended to 800, and that's kind of where we would start. And then our friend Andy made a few improvements to his gun, right?
Yep.
And because he has a beautiful rifle, which is an interesting story in and of itself.
Yeah.
How we kind of got it configured that way.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if we want to talk about that,
Well, let's hear
and
what the gun. I'm curious what the gun is first, so we can maybe share the story
we all
another time. If
we
you
all
want,
shoot
but
gunworks. So we all shoot gunworks, and that's not because it's because that's what we love to shoot, right? And we shoot SOMs, which is optimal, but he wanted a very special stock that they no longer made. So I told him, I'm like, well, if you want that, you got to write a letter. You got to write a letter to the owner. And he was just like, he's upset about it, right? You're kind of mad.
I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I'm like, oh, I don't know if that will go over well.
So he wrote it, and I was just like, you know what? He's a busy man.
Yeah.
And expect a no, but at least you tried.
Yeah.
Like what?
And then literally the next day in the morning,
he's
like, we'll get it done for you.
Yeah.
And then he CC'd Chris Ashworth, our actual
rep, and did it. And so that's his rifle.
Yeah.
Like that is his rifle. Okay. But it wasn't shooting the way we had hoped it would. But we are absolutely blessed that we have an amazing friend and gunsmith in town here, Andy. And he went through it, and the next thing you know, that gun was super consistent.
Yes.
So he was shooting and like cold boring at 800.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. And then he was working out, like physically building up his strength, and despite the kind of looming sort of health issue that he's had for a while. We just enjoyed the gear chase, and so we got everything dialed in, got our food dialed in, kind of. Well,
the first time the food could have been better, but
he needed more food for sure. I mean, I went about it the way I go with like weighing my food, so anyway, the plan was for the three of us, me and Jackson and Ben, to go on an opener. And for the an August opener, which is where all my Rams have been taken, so I'm a big advocate of it. But then there's the frustration of everywhere you want to go, everyone else thinking the same thing.
Yep.
And we decided, because of Benno's tight schedule, not to use my jet boat, and so we flew into a place. And I mean, I arguably got good information from someone that I trust, and it was an absolutely jaw-dropping, beautiful.
Oh, it was an
place.
amazing place to go.
Yeah,
just amazing.
And we saw, I say like 50-ish Rams, but like both Ben and Jackson, like there was over not Rams, there was over 70 lambs there. And I kept making crude comments of like, okay, they are like, where are their boyfriends? Like, what's going on here? Like, so that was a bit. It was frustrating, but for me, it was very purposeful, because right from the moment we hit the beach of the lake, neither Jack or Ben had been on a hunt like that at that level. And like I always say, it's all Kuyu ads and gear revisits until you get off that plane and the pilot's like, get the F out, see you the F later, have a good time, right? And then that plane fades into the distance and you hear absolutely nothing because it's dead quiet out there. And it's just you and the unknown, right? And so
just sorry to interrupt. I'm very curious, because I love to ask this question to somebody that's never done it before. When you saw the floats lift off the water on that plane, Jack, what went through your mind? What was the first thing that went through your mind?
Honestly, I was just pretty fixated on the hunt. I was not really worried, to be honest.
So you were excited,
I was just excited to experience it, just to go out there and just experience what it's like to be armed and camping, which is what we did.
Armed camping. Yeah, gun. I call it gun hiking. Is another one. Yeah,
that works. Okay. Too. No, I'm pretty laid back, to be honest. So
Jack's actually pretty stoic and chill. Like, it's not an act. That's how he is.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything but whenever I talk to him, so I'm not surprised.
Funny part of it is that I realized I was responsible for the two of them. And then I myself didn't know the terrain. I didn't know where water was. I didn't know the route up to the mountain, because there was quite a way from the lake up on the mountain. So I always joke about it, that first that first couple of hours on a hunt like that, you're hunting with Omer of the Third Reich. Like, it's like, I asked the questions. We are going here. We are stopping there. Put that down. Like, I'm just like, you know.
This is the trail. Walk. Oh, very
and, you know,
funny.
and I ribbon like a maniac. Like, I'm
Yeah.
tying ribbon the whole way. And like, and I should say that day was awful, man. Like, we had a lot of hiccups on the way up. Like, my beloved truck blew its water pump just outside of Tatoga Lake.
Oh,
So we were like literally just like pins and needles trying to get to, you know, Tatoga Lake somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, we're gonna run out of time, but you know, here's the thing. I've been going to Tatoga Lake for a long time. Bow hunted there, got, you know, me and Jeff harvested rams off of Tottingham. And so we spent a lot of time at the lodge there and got to know the owner, John, over many years. And so we roll up there at like 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And it's 9 o'clock on I don't know what it was, a Friday or
Like
something.
No, it was like a Thursday.
So you know, you're in the middle of nowhere near like outside of Iskut with a blown water pump, barely able to make it over a hill before your heat spikes. So you think you're getting prison shower regulated. Like, nothing's going right here. You know, help mom. So we just roll in there, park it. The last little bit of coolant sloshes out. And I walk up there and I just bang on the door. And here's like John, who, if anyone's been to Tatoga Lake and knows who John is, like, he is an amazing, kind soul. And he's in his probably mid-80s, opens the door and he just goes, Homer. And I'm like, John, am I ever glad to see you? So he put us up for the night, knows everybody, calls Charlie at Charlie's garage, gets his wife at like just about 10 o'clock, and sends down a flat deck to pick up my truck in the morning. And boom, we're in Dees Lake. But then the weather rolled in, so it looked like we weren't going to be able to fly out. And so this guy and Ben, all they're doing is like pushing for us to fly. They're like, we got to get out. We got to get in there. I'm like, easy there, Broncos. It's fucking 7 o'clock at night. Like, we're going to be touching down. We got 2 hours before darkness. You don't know what you're getting into, but then, okay, whatever. So we get there and we're hiking through super thick brush. I see all these people who John earlier, which is amazing.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So then we break over, like, it's a hard straight hike up off a lake when you've been kind of loafing around all day. And then bam, you're in it. And I'm like, okay, listen, we need to find flat ground. So we use Heidelbergs, which have a bit of a pitch length. So I'm like, we need to get this down now. And Ben's like, hey, boss, easy, take it easy. And, you know, Jackson's never knowing when I'm going to go full Greek restaurant manager. So he's like, what's going on here? Like, what do I need to worry about? So then bam, like, we find a spot. I'm like, let's get these fucking tents up now. So we get Benno's, he's got a single, and then we run an L3 GT. And I'm not kidding. Like, literally the second we got it up, the heavens opened, and it, like, you know, full keg of beer, drink, pissed on us all night. Yeah. And so the whole trip was like that. And I, you know, without being patronizing or like overly instructional, I was trying to impress on both of them that the decisions you make today or don't make are really going to affect you tomorrow. And that's like water in particular. Yeah. Because neither one of them has been in a situation where water was so scarce. And we were doing some pretty creative things to find and retain water for three of us, because we ended up camping like right up in the plateau, which was magnificent, right? Which was pretty amazing.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was
really
nice.
You know, the big takeaways from that armed camping trip were that, you know, I'm no longer in my 40s, I'm in my 50s, and I've suffered some bad injuries and I have some debilitating, you know, chronic things. But every day I just felt myself getting better up there. Mm-hmm. And then Jackson, who also was, you know, dealing with a very serious health problem. You know, like I have no, you know, we don't have any problem saying it. Like I was packing a defibrillator for him, and my friend Ben he's a surgeon. So, you know, we felt that the risk was mitigated. but he was doing great, watching, talking to him every moment, like, how are you feeling? What are you doing? Because it's pretty tough up there when you're doing serious elevation changes. But I was like, okay, I'm back in I got my sheep legs under me. I can do this, again, and everything was going right. We were doing everything right, the animals just weren't there. And then I remember vividly, we're coming down a really steep scree, and we're in this really narrow chute with like slippery shale.
Yeah.
And so I'm really worried about, I'm telling them, hey, put your gloves on. That's where you need your little gloves on. If you slip and fall, blah, 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 you'll hurt your hands on the rocks. And they're like, yeah, Dad. Okay, sure. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of came to a spot, and Jackson came up to me and he said, what did you say?
So there was nothing here that I didn't find, that I didn't have an issue with.
Yeah.
I had no problem with any of it.
So I was like,
yeah, that's good.
I was like, okay.
I'd do it again.
Well, and then you said, when can we do this again?
Yeah.
Like, we're not even off the frickin' mountain. And we, like, leaving work is difficult for us. And I'm already like, okay, we got to go again. So that's when the seed was planted for the next hunt.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was chatting with you before and after the first one, and we kind of went through and got caught up, and then you said you're trying to put together a second one, and I was like, holy shit.
Well, the best,
I know. Yeah.
I am going to cut you off, because the two best parts about hitting cell service, I mean, there were many, but two of the best ones were the fact that you and Ian both tagged out.
Oh,
Ian
well,
Barrett's
thank you.
on here, and you guys both tagged out, which was fucking incredible. And pardon my language, guys, but that's how I talk. Like, it was amazing. I mean, that was just, I don't know how to describe that. Those moments were just like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Right. And so Ian, you've been chasing that set of horns for a long time. And my friend Ben is a very success-oriented person, very successful person. And so he was, he's kind of crestfallen. And I called you out. Yeah, exactly. 20 years.
20
and I
years,
said, hey,
yeah.
I've been after it for 20 years and up teen hunts. And he finally closed the circle while we were doing the same thing. And, it kind of made him feel better. And and then your journey, right? Not just your journey, but your actual hunt were like, I mean, like, that's a story unto itself, like a very grueling, long, grindy, toily hunt for, not just the ram, but like the ram, the ram that, like, you're like, if I never shoot another one, I'm good.
Totally happy. You betcha.
Right?
Well, and it's interesting because, a couple things you touched on there, you get messages, right? And you probably more than anybody getting the messages of ram down, ram down, ram down. And there's been so many years, and I know Ian and I talked about this, and Ed and I've talked about it too, where you'll be on your sheep hunt and it's just like one of those kick in the stomach hunts where you're not, it's raining and it's windy and it's all used and you're not seeing anything. And then opener comes up and boom, you get a text from some guy and he's like, oh yeah, double header, like double header, 2 rams down. And this guy's shot 6, 8, 10 rams or whatever, and you're just like, God damn, why? How? But when you get the one from somebody who's, hey, first ram after grinding balls for 10 years or 20 years. Yeah, I can see where Ben was coming from there.
Yeah, and it's great to get, that dichotomy.
Yes.
Right. And it's surprising. I mean, I got so many stories of that I could probably take up all the time. But, the point is that there's a reason why, someone like Jack, who is, grown up with it, his dad's in the business, knows all these great sheep hunters and sheep hunts. There is a reason why it appeals to him, because
for sure,
ultimately, when you're in that environment, you realize that you don't belong there. And it takes a lot. It does. It takes a lot of will, like mental preparation and physical preparation and field craft to enjoy your time there. Because if any one of those three, right, your mental mental toughness, mental preparation, your physical preparation, and your gear, if there are deficiencies in those three, one or more, it becomes less enjoyable.
Mhm.
And there's nothing, so I got a great photo. I mean, we're jumping all over the place, but I have a fantastic photo, which was really, other than shooting his ram, it signifies exactly what Jackson wanted out of the hunt. And so, when we were prepping, so we got back, and then, then it's just a solid wall of like, holy shoot, right? And then
Gotcha.
and then
Yeah, I can
the
imagine.
people that we rely on when we're gone, we're completely overwhelmed. We have some fantastic people that are with us, like Michelle, who has been looking after our grocery side for years, and then the people that help her, like Jody and Julian and Laurel and all these people that just work with us and help us. They're they understand how important this is to us. So we come back, and I literally have like a folder full of like notes and like a notebook and hundreds of emails and hundreds of texts, and you're just like, oh my goodness, when can I go back?
Yes.
And we literally want to go back.
Yeah.
And then we're like, how are we going to inflict this back on them?
On them, yeah.
Right. And so, that, but the drive is overwhelming to do it. So we started planning, but the key was like, okay, where are we going to go? And so this is where a seed that you planted way back here comes back. And many, 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 many years ago, I gave someone the ram of a lifetime. Like
you gave him the spot, or you were with him? And
no, I was literally with him.
Gave him the ram.
And I gave him an incredible ram. Okay.
It's an incredible ram.
And he's always been incredibly thankful. And he's a very gracious guy. And he's a man of God. And he's a wonderful person. And so him and I were just randomly kind of chatting, and he gave me some information. Because I said, here's the deal. I really want my son to see rams. And I want him to experience that. And my headspace at that time was maybe not as optimistic about his health as it is now, to be honest. So,
lots of worry there, right? Like there was lots going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually stupid that here, like, I'm worried about his health, but I want to take him on another sheep hunt. So anyway, so this gentleman gave me like incredible information. Okay. And then simultaneously, another friend whom I've also invested a lot of time in and helped whenever he needed it. He knew that we were going to go on a hunt. So you remember that? He kind of came in the office.
Yeah, just came into the office randomly.
Popped in the office. He's like, okay, listen,
yeah,
I'm going to show you a place. But if I show you, you have to go. Remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you have to go. Okay, I'm not going to show you. Tell me you're going to go. Tell me you're going to go. So I'm like, listen, I trust you. He is as accomplished as can be. Okay. So he shows me, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, same spot.
Same place.
Same place.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was like, okay, wow, thank you. So then it got even better, because a father and son that had been in there that, we know, kind of got known that we were going there because friend B told them, and then they came in the office and spent like forever. They're sitting there in the office with us, and the phone's in there. But when it's like a 3-ring circus. The phones are ringing nonstop. People are calling, and Michelle or Julian, or they never know who they're getting. Jody are answering, taking messages, and then, me and Jack and these two gentlemen. And I'm being discreet here. I'm not naming names because
Sure.
Areas are privileged, and I don't want to. They imparted this stuff to us, and I just want to keep it as discreet as possible. But they spent a lot of time walking us through everything that they knew, right? So I mean, even if we didn't go on that hunt, the fact that these people, right, decided to help us with that information
Very thankful.
was just like very, I don't know, it just, what do you want to call it, karma, you know, like
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Mhm.
It's all part of the
Nice.
process, right? So then
Yeah,
came,
you know, it's really it's just a testament to you guys and, you know, the way you treat everybody that walks in the door. And that's just the way, like, there's no one that would disagree with me on this. I guarantee it. Karma is a great word. You know, good things happen to good people. You know, it's just a circle, right? And it's hilarious that these guys went to the exact same spot. And yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, like it was pretty rad. And then the real fun part started,
The gear stuff.
the gear part,
Yep.
right?
Oh, yeah,
We
let's
always
hear it.
enjoy that. Yeah, so we again revisited the gear, and you know, like hormone boy over here needed more food. So, you know, we're going out of our way to like try to get him like more calories. And then, you know, and then like we don't have normal lives, right? Like, you know, it's always like even today, I wanted to be here at 6, right?
Yeah.
Like when did I text you? At like
Yeah. Home at 6. Yeah.
6:50 or something, like okay, and then like we're like, you know, the audio's not working, so I'm like side-eyeing Jackson, like lasering. I'm like, you gotta make that shit work, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, that's how it is, right? Like that's the kind of the tempo that we maintain, and we're used to it, right? But it like we get good results out of it. But I remember, you know, it was a long, exhausting day, and I'm like, okay, and I wasn't feeling particularly good. My knee, you know, it's like I'm down, and he's been organizing our packs. Like he's been doing everything. He's been, so, you know, we figure out the food, and we got some good stuff going on. Figure out the gear.
The gear was
changed
good.
Yeah.
The gear was all good. Packs were good. Just the food.
We got
just the food, man.
Well, look, I mean, there was nothing wrong with the food. It was just there was like
The amount.
fucking heavy. Okay, so like I want it to be, and I'd set a mental note to myself. I want our packs to be, you know, here.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not gonna say what here was. Okay, and then throw it on, but you know, in reality, like those packs didn't serve us well.
No, the packs they just weren't as comfortable as to what we were normally used to.
Yeah.
So that's also a part. Like I think the food was heavy, but
It was heavy. It was
but
fucking heavy.
it was
You back
for me. I needed it. So
Well, let's be
So
honest,
then-
guys. Most sheep hunters don't sit around and pack their gear in the back room of a grocery store.
I know, fair. So, you know,
think
I
about
was
it.
hoping our weight would be here, and it was like here, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, then I went Greek man. I was a Greek restaurant manager who just got a bad batch of tomatoes. I was like, what is it? What are you doing? This is too much. You don't need 9 bars. Like, so I'm like, okay. So we started going through it methodically, and like counting calories and eliminating. So we got more objective, like going for gross calories versus grams versus like, you know, what is in here that is maybe a bit more emotional, and we cut like 10 pounds.
Mhm.
I'm not shitting you.
Yep, like 9.8 pounds.
Yeah, out of both of our packs. Okay.
Shit.
And then
That's
I
real
was
weight.
of the mind, I knew that like if he needed more, I could, you know, I was always able to give him, you know, more of my trail mix or my bars or whatever, right?
Sure.
So I agree, Mike. I've been looking at that for sure. Pemmican bars, I think, are the way. It's all about the fat in that.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at a pemmican berry mix bar that had something like 40 was it 40 grams? It was like almost 1,000 calories, something like that. No, 200 grams, 1,000 calories. Pretty incredible. Hard on the gallbladder, but anyway, we got it all figured out, and then, you know, he's shooting like a maniac. Like he's cold boring at 800 yards. Me, some days better than others.
There was one blowout day, which was like that was a crazy day, but like that's a normal day for precision optics
For sure.
So-
I mean, you know, the best thing you can do after a frustrating day where like everything's going squirrely is go to the range and shoot at 800 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's a good idea. That's what you
Yeah.
should do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You should
So
really be
he
shooting
lays down.
speech or trap or something. That might be better suited.
Yeah, he lays down, goes 3 for 3 at 800 on an IPSC. And then he knows that I probably shouldn't shoot, right? So I lay down. What do? I miss. First shot.
Mm-hmm.
Second shot is my foot on my gun.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's part of how I have to deal with it. So, you know, I calmed down, laid down, right? And it was just me and I so we're good. So anyway, next thing you know, skip all that behind. Next thing you know, it's September 9th, and we're on the trail in this area. And after 15 minutes, I stop and I basically tell him, I'm like, you know what, Jack? This pack effing sucks. And he's like, wow, you know, he's tweaking it, adjusting it. You know, he's like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And in my head, I'm like, hey, listen, I've been on lots of backpack hunts. This, and I've had heavy loads. This doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel good. Then after about an hour and a half, he's like, you know what, Dad?
Pack sucks.
This is gonna be a rough ride.
Well, I'm like, I'm sorry, Dad. I picked these packs. I picked the packs. I'm like, oh, sorry, Dad. This is my dad.
So I give him the like, you know what, son? It's okay. Reserving that little bit of guilt for later.
Yeah,
right?
you put that into dad pocket for when you need it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So we had a very ambitious goal. Okay, because friend A that first gave us the information, when he went in there, I mean, holy smokes. Like
They went in there.
They went in COVID guy deep. I mean,
boy.
like so I mean, basically he told me, he's like, look, if you want to do it the way we did it and see what we saw, you need to turn the suck knob up to 10, put your face and nose on the trail, and just ignore everything other than water and where you need to go. And it's over 40K of a hike.
Oh yeah.
So in the lead up to the hunt, the one thing that he kept saying was,
I want it to hurt.
He's saying he
I
wanted
want to be humbled.
he wanted to be humble.
That was what I wanted.
So we're doing all of this and thinking this in the context of, like, you know, how hard we're going to have to go to get where we need to go, while, you know, Jack is like dealing with, you know, like his heart issue, which was improperly diagnosed at the time, to be honest. And he's on like very strong medication trying to control his heart.
Very strong, like, blood pressure medication. So it like drops your blood pressure extremely low, and for the most part, like, people don't get affected by it, but I'm in the low, like, 5% of people who do get affected by
Bad side effects.
Yeah, medication. So it was unfortunate, but kind of
so we gutted it out. I mean, you know, this
it sounds like
part of it, and he's pushing through it. So I'm like, okay, all right, like, we'll see. Like, there was a good movie back in the 80s called Colors. I don't know if you remember that. It was Robert Duvall and Sean Penn.
Yeah, I do remember.
It's a little bit crude, but you know, Robert Duvall is the old, sagely veteran cop, and Sean Penn is the, like, let's go get them all kind of cop. And Robert Duvall tells him this joke, and again, I apologize to everybody, but he's trying to tell him a lesson. He's like, there's an old bull and a young bull up on a mountain, and there's a field full of cows.
Just come close to the mic.
Do you remember that joke?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know, the young bull's like, let's run down and have all of them cows. And the old bull, like, let's walk down and have them all. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's see how today goes before we go 40K, buddy. So we
oh my God.
you know, the going was good, but man, it was barely half a day. About midday, we just stepped off the trail, you know, because there's a decent trail from where you get dropped off to take a leak, and bam, there's a ram up on a grassy slope.
Yep.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like right there. So like literally the first ram he's ever looked at.
8 kilometers into the trail.
Yeah. And
Nice.
looking
Wow.
at it, and right away it's like a 6-year-old. But you know, it's got good, like it's a nice looking ram. Like he's got a good body, nice hide.
It was like the cape that really stands out in that, like in that season, like in that
For
one.
sure.
It's just the cape is just so like, it's pretty incredible, just amazing.
Well, and then and that's the thing, when you see your first ram, and if the sun hits it just right, or if you're close like you guys are,
yeah,
you never forget it, right? Like you
No.
can see 100, 200 lambs and ewes, and they're nice, they're cool, they're cute. You know, you get them
Yeah.
close. When you see that first ram, oh, I know the feeling, Jack. It's unbelievable.
amazing.
So that's
So
where you're
cool.
like, okay, we're barely in there. And here's sheep. Here's a ram. Like, do we stop? Like, how much time do we spend here? But I'm like, no, because we had like a kind of a first camp spot. I'm like, no, we gotta at least get in like a minimum distance. So, you know, getting there was relatively uneventful. It's just like, you know, water is, you know, sometimes a headache. So we found a good camp spot,
Mhm.
you know, pitch tent,
How
not too
far
far
were-
from a creek.
How far were we?
It's just about 20K. It's like 18, 19K.
It was 18, 19,
Yeah,
18,
yeah.
19 kilometers in.
Yeah. It was a good first day.
Good poke.
Right.
Yeah, good poke.
And I'm like, you know, got the old body, like, you know, then he was holding up pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, he was feeling all right, set up a good camp, you know, got good water, set up the gravity feed, settle in. You know, we run a Nello 3 GT.
This one we did an Elo. It was an Elo 2. We
Was
went
that
for
the
the
2?
2-person. We went for the 2-person
you're right.
for.
Yeah, you're
'cause
right.
We only needed.
Yeah, wanted something lighter.
One
So
lighter.
Nello 2 GT. So it's
Mhm.
about a pound lighter. But, you know, the big takeaway on that tent is the vestibule.
Yes.
It's just like,
Huge.
yeah, it's so wonderful
nice.
to organize in. It's a bit heavier and it's got a long pitch length, but you know, who cares? So
Can't really go back after you use it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The Heidelberg Hotel.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then we got our rituals. Like you know, our packs are a little bit heavy because we bring 20,000 mAh batteries so that we can watch movies on our iPhones. And so we drift off to sleep, except I made one thing. So we flew in here, and when we're flying in, the pilot was like, oh man, it's so warm, you know, the elk aren't chirping, and you know, blah blah blah. And so, you know, I just kind of assumed it was going to be warm. And you know, one of the reasons that I avoided September hunts for a long time is I've seen a lot of rams die on the August opener, and also B, I've done a lot of this praying to God in September because things get biblical, like it gets
Oh, yeah.
rank, like fast.
Mhm.
But it was so warm. I didn't think about something. So woke up in the middle of the night, and like we were soaked in the tent. And so then I'm like, holy man, it must be cold outside, because I'd zipped up the tent. No, sorry, I had opened up the vents. And then I'm like, oh man, it must be freezing outside, because when you open up the vents, the cold comes in and it condensates more in those tents. So we wiped it down, and then eventually we got up, and the surface of the vestibule was frozen solid, like
Wow.
rock solid. But you know, we have a process in the vestibule to make sure our boots and everything are protected.
Yeah.
Right.
Just we cover everything in the vegetable with our rain gear,
Yeah.
and it holds up perfect.
Yeah. But then I'm laying there, and you know, like everybody that's been in that country, when it's cold and you're laying there and you're warm in your bag, and you know it's miserably cold out, but you got to take a leak. You're like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't need to pee. Maybe I can just lay here and I just won't go pee and I'll be okay. But then eventually you're like, no, I gotta pee. You know, either that or you pack the pants, right? So I got up and I go out, and man, like it was freaking cold. I don't know how cold it got overnight, but like the water bladder in the vestibule is frozen. But I was mostly worried about the filter for the gravity works that I left hanging on the tree. So I'm, you know, getting a little excitable. I bring it in, you know, try to warm it up, and then, you know, get it going. We get our Alpen fuel and our coffee, and
Yep.
You know, we all have our biological rituals where you're like, okay, I need my coffee to kind of get the plumbing going, and then you work up the courage. You know, you're like, okay, I think I'm warm enough, and day was breaking, and so I that's great.
A couple of veterans there commenting. Yeah.
So I step out and I'm doing the old like, okay, nature, get ready for me. Here I come. And I look up on the face that's right in front of us, and boom, I see 4 black rectangles that are moving.
Wow.
So I'm like, I don't even go for the binos. I'm like, hey, Jack, pass me the spotter. Passes me the spotter. I set it up. So, you know, I got a down jacket on. I'm in my underwear. It's freezing, and I'm looking through the spotter, which must have been really attractive. And I'm like, holy shit, they're rams, and there's 2 good ones, like right here. I'm like, Jack, there's rams, and he's like, really? I'm like, fuck yeah. So he's like scrambling, and we're looking, and I'm like, holy man, like there are 2 good rams there, and they're literally on the face right in front of us.
So how many yards away would you say they were?
There were probably a couple thousand from where we were.
Was it?
If that? Well, yeah.
But line of sight.
LOS probably 1,500-1,600 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to take a crunch. So I go off and do that. Right. Come back, we gear up and we head in there. And then, it was kind of a textbook stalk. I just went into bow hunt mode. But at the same time, we're trying to explain things to Jackson. Like, he's very cerebral. He needs to know. So I'm trying to explain the do's and the don'ts and the dangers, right? I'm like, right now it's cold. The sun's not fully out. We're okay. The moment those sun rays start hitting the ground, the thermals kick. It's going to come uphill. So you got to be angular to them. And then I'm showing them like, okay, always keep something between you and them. Never exposed. They react to motion more than color. Anyway, next thing you know, we're kind of nestled in some willows and alder, and we're maybe 450.
Yeah, under 450 yards.
Yeah, and we're getting great, so we're using a Swarovski ATX 65.
Well, and two of them had buggered off, but the two
that we were
interested were just grazing for.
So we got the Olin on them, getting great video of them, and I'm like, one of them, I'm like, man, like you see him from the front, he's broomed here, and he's like up here, and then he turns sideways, and you can't see a tip. And friend B had told me, he's like, hey, it takes a while to get used to these rams, right? They're deep. And it's not as easy to age them as you think, and they got weird geometry. So I was just like, I'm like, man, I think when you see a ram and he's like, his tip's way up here, and then he turns, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it's either back, but this guy literally had no slope to his nose. It was like forehead to snout.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to age him, but I'm like, man, that's not what I want, right? Then the other one, the advent of having video in the field is like you're literally going frame by frame, and like Jackson's doing it, and you can see him turn, and you can see him braking on both sides. So he's
perfect.
Like, oh, but I'm like, but look at where the bottom of his curve is relative to his jaw. He was a high curl, right? And I'm like, Jack, that's not why we're here. But that's not why we're here. Like, you don't realize it, but that's not what you want. Okay.
So yeah, I just stop you there for a sec. Now, obviously, this is the advantage to hunting with someone that's seen a lot of rams and been on successful hunts, because when you see those 2 tips, when they turn sideways and you see both, there's a lot of people would shoot that ram immediately, not even give it a second thought.
Yeah.
If it's their first ram or if they're newer hunters. But having that veteran there that's more interested in that other one. Then you were talking about, your friend said you got to get used to the rams in this country. Yeah. You're talking about the genetics of the typical
the
maturity, and the rams are wow. Cool.
Yeah, so we watched him for a while, and
I literally had a prone. It
Oh,
could have been
yeah.
a perfect shot. It would have been just an
Yeah.
easy shot. He was quartered away. Could have
Yeah.
just
He's like
within
dry
400
firing.
yards.
Oh yeah. Thing
Or
is,
within 450
they're
yards.
both dead multiple
shot.
times. And then in my head, I'm like, man, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Like
First
bang,
day-
bang,
Double.
camps down there,
Yeah.
yada, 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 right? And so if people, that have talked to me if they ask for advice and they want to listen to me yammer on, one of the things I say is like, never pass on day 1. What you're praying to God to see again on day 12, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, wait till you hear about her like day 12. Okay. So we let them go, and then we wanted to venture further up the valley that we were on. So, that ended up being quite a long day. We went back at least 10K, and then we found and then the big thing, of course, is as you're elevating is of water, like camp spot and water, right?
Mhm.
We were a little bit disappointed that we didn't see anything beyond there, really. We didn't see much in the vast country beyond there. Okay. But we weren't discouraged at all. We knew enough about the area, what we've been told, like kind of where we needed to go. So we made a plan that, okay, let's head back. This was good, right? Great day. We saw legal rams and kind of figured out where our next potential camp spot would be. But I know both of us in our minds were like, getting to that camp spot is going to be a royal, like
Royal pain.
Oh yeah, like a lot of elevation change up, but but a lot of down and regaining.
Loss in elevation.
And it was another 10 or so K at least. So we got back, we settled in, peak refuel, one of my 2 ups. So I brought 3 flavors because I'm of a very intolerant system. So basically I had 2 flavors of peak refuel, chicken and rice. No, sorry.
Chicken teriyaki and rice.
And sweet pork and rice.
Yep.
And then the home style chicken, we were all sold out of. I think everybody was.
Yeah.
And then I brought a couple of stroganoffs, which are not something that I should be eating. But I brought a couple as kind of a victory lap in base, right? And then we watched kind of one of our favorite movies, one of the Fast and the Furious series out there.
Okay.
Drifted off to a great slumber, and then woke up the next morning. It was nice and warm. It was great.
Yep. Weather was warmer.
And literally, it was like rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Got out to take a whiz, and I'm like, holy shit. Now there's 5 big rectangular blocks up there.
Yep.
So like, Jackson,
Same spot.
yeah.
Same exact spot where they were.
So I recognize 4 of them, except there is a really good ram in there. From where we are, I'm like, holy shit. Okay, let's go. So we literally retrace our steps.
Yeah. We
get back to pretty much the same spot. And then when we finally break out and get some viz, we cannot see this 5th ram. And I'm like, there was 5 rams, right, Jack? Like I'm literally like, there was 5 there, right? I'm not like, I didn't slip it in my head. I'm not hallucinating. And he just buggered off. And so, this is where, even if you have experience, you always have to respect the wariness of these animals and the environment, because we're in the same spot, we're watching them, and I'm trying to reassess, like I'm now starting to think like maybe I should rethink this. And all that happened was the wind just like it's kind of hard to explain, but the rams were here and like the contours like this, but we're like over here. So like the wind isn't as much of a factor. We're kind of covered.
You got a sniff maybe, but yeah.
But it all it did was lilt a little bit, and man, they bolted.
Yeah, they got a whiff of us.
Yeah,
we were like
gone.
I think we were 500 yards away,
yeah.
And then we were behind a lot of thick alder, and they just got a quick whiff of us, and they were just gone instantly. Within 20 seconds, you couldn't see them.
Yeah, and we got it on video too. Like we had the Olin on them, right? So I'm just like, well, if that's how it's going to be, and we'll carry on then. Pardon us, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let's go right to the top of this entire ridge, which ended up like pretty intimidating. Like you've never scaled something of that size. It's just
pretty awesome. Pretty amazing.
So it's pretty intimidating. Like it's a massive face. So we work our way up and kind of get on the side ridge, and then we're seeing ewes and lambs, right? And then you got to make that decision of, are you going to bump the ewes and lambs, or are you going to like not go through there? So anyway, we get up there and we're glassing and checking things out, and then, you know, we're picking it apart. Like from where the reason I wanted to get up there was that we would have a vista over like a massive area,
Huge mountain range area,
like
multiple mountains,
multiple valleys.
yeah.
So we're glassing, and I'm, like everybody's gone through this, I'm sure, where you're trying to be meticulous. You know, there are different ways to glass. You go most obvious spots, like, you know, green slides, green chutes, green drainages, you know, then the less obvious spots, and you work your way down the list, or you just go full Terminator and just grid your way through it, right? Yeah. And so I was gridding an area, and then I just and I just kind of just poked off into a random direction, and I'm like, oh, that looks right. Like some rectangular dark blocks and some, you know, some white butts. Yeah. The white butt in sheep country is like probably the best thing you can see, right?
Oh yeah.
Put the spot on them, and you know, I've got pictures and video. So they were over 8 kilometers away as the crow flies, and you know, there's 7 of them, and there was one in the pack that his bases, at that really distance, his bases were just giant. Yeah. I'm like, this thing looks silly. Yeah. And I'm getting relativism because there's another ram beside him, like they're feeding, and I'm like, holy smokes. And I'm just like, okay, Jack, that's where we're going. Like, that's where we're gonna go.
That's where we want to go.
So you know, everything's good, except I'm like, well, you know, even though we came up this face and it was okay, let's try going down the other side just to have a look at the other side, right? Which ended up being ridiculously steep. Okay,
just completely just butt scooching all the way down, and like,
yeah, we were like
crazy.
we were like 5-pointing it for like a few hundred yards, but you know, you make it down. I mean, it's a strain on your joints, but we make it down again, get back to camp, and you know, we're hearing at this point the elk are now starting to chirp. They're bugling, so we're hearing elk bugle as we're heading to camp.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a pretty magical sound. Awesome. So same, you know, a little bit of peak refuel, a little bit of you know, Fast and the Furious, and drift off and wake up the next day, and we're like, you know, we're motivated. We know what we need to do, except that it was probably the second worst day that we ended up having. You know, I woke up. No, it was that night. So that night I'm feeling pretty good. Spotted these rams. So I'm not going to completely blame it on this, but it definitely contributed. But I had beef stroganoff, which is supposed to be a victory meal. So I eat it, you know, and you know, if you got chronic gut problems, you never know what's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, but whatever, woke up, and I'd been studying Onyx, and, you know, it's wonderful that we have tools like Onyx. Okay, it's cheating. Like having an Olin and a phone scope and something like Onyx Hunt
really is
incredible to have, right? But I'll take it. So I'm like, you know, so you're looking at it. I plotted kind of, you know, when we're up there, I'm using Onyx. Okay, that's where those rams were. So, you know, I have a relative pin of where they are. But there's like several valleys between us, like 3 valleys. So 3 big elevation changes between us. So with a full camp, right, it's kind of like, man, I don't want to make those elevation changes, right? I mean, that's just common sense. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, energy where you can.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I think what we need to do is go back the way we came and then go up the right valley, right? So we start doing that, but you know, it's back like 5 or 6K.
Yeah, it was about 5.5 kilometers. We went back the trail that we came through, like from 5.5 kilometers.
Yeah.
Right, and then we were gonna basically catch. There was it was like sort of right
sort of a half-ass trail that leads by a creek, right?
Yeah.
You know, according to Onyx, and so we're we're doing it, we're hiking it, but you know, it's just like every sort of supposed trail, just would peter out, and next thing you know, you're not on trails, you're on game trails, and you know, so they just go, they're squirrely, they go this way, that way, the next way, and so friend A had warned me about that. He's like, man, like there is just shit everywhere. You like, you can't trust anything. The next thing you know, we're down in the creek, which is where that's where you want to be for water, but not for anything else, because you can't walk 5 feet in one direction without alder or a blowdown.
Yeah.
And the day's ticking on, and I'm like, okay, we need to get the hell out of here. We need to get on the other side of this creek. And I'm kind of confused, because I'm like, there should be something in here that is like workable, because people have been in here, right? This isn't like a secret. It's just hard to get in there. Okay. So we like climb, like kind of a steep climb out.
It was very steep,
Yeah.
very vertical.
Yeah. And it's a warm day. Like the weather was on our
Yeah.
favor.
It was a very clear day.
Yeah.
Good weather.
And then boom, here's a horse trail. Like, you know, it's a horse trail because there's like horse hoof, old. Okay. I'm like, okay, fucking A. Like
The highway.
yeah. And so we like, you know, reference Onyx a bit, and I'm the kind of person that I've gone through that stage of looking at the GPS every 5 minutes, and like, you know, here's where you need to be, here's where you are. 5 minutes later, here's where you need to be. You look again, here's where you are, and you're not moving, and it drives you nuts, and you're wasting time. So,
Yeah.
you know, we just kind of put our noses down, and we hiked for, it didn't seem that long. Except we stopped because I'm like, I was pretty fuzzy headed. I had a bit of brain fog, and I don't know. I just was not having a great day.
Well, I was kind of like, I was kind of seeing like these mountain contours that we had seen, and I was like, oh, this looks not good. This doesn't look like we're going the right way.
He's kind of like, Dad, you goof. That's the wrong fucking mountain. We're going the wrong way. I'm like, no, he's like, Dad, how can you, like, just say it as it was. You're like, Dad, how the fuck can you not know that that's the wrong mountain? That's the wrong compass heading. You know, and he's looking at me like,
What's
shit,
wrong with you, Dad?
I'm relying on you. Like, what is going on here? So then I, you know, kind of like Captain Kirk, fucking whip out the fucking, you know, hey, Scotty, where the hell are we? Bring up Onyx,
Yep.
wait for it to center. And I'm like, well, that's good job, Omer. Way to go, Magellan. We are now closer to where we left this morning than where you want us to be.
Yes.
Like,
Well done. Well
like,
played.
literally, here's where we were. Here's where we wanted to be. So we came
Oh my
back
God.
the way, and then we started going this way. Then we caught the horse trail, and then we kind of went like this. And so, you know, I was mildly perturbed.
I bet.
I was
Not mild.
no, I was, you know, like, I mean, this is a rookie mistake that I haven't made since literally one of my very first goat hunts. So I'm like, okay, all right. Like, it's now like what, 3 o'clock?
Well, no, it was 2 o'clock before we dropped our packs.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll get to that. So it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you lose light around 7-ish.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah,
Around
right around 7.
6:45, 7 was where you start seeing the light really start fading.
So now in my muddled head, I'm like, okay, we are like closer to where we left this morning, but you know, there is a spot that, you know, we could probably get to where there's water if everything goes right. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go back in that direction, except there's no clear path. We're literally walking like through, like we're like pushing bush, but it's like kind of subalpine-y, right? Like it's
swampy.
a bit swampy, marshy, and then like you know, kind of stunted evergreens. And so we go for a ways, and then we break into this big marshy meadow, and we cross it, and then there's like a ridge, bit of an elevation gain, and then there's more of these evergreens, right? And so my brilliant plan at that point in my life was like, what we need to do, here's what we need to do, Jackson. We need to drop our packs right here, not
Yeah.
bring our rain gear, just bring our guns, no water, no food. We'll just drop our packs right here, and we're going to go ahead a ways and just see if there's a trail. And I'm going to make sure that I don't drop a pin on Onyx. Okay, we're just going to go now.
So why would you?
There's no
I mean,
good
why would
reason.
you?
Yeah, there's no good reason to do any of those other things. Like, why do you need rain gear? Why do you need water? Why do you need food? Why do you
Oh
need
my
a pin where you
God.
left your packs? Right.
Yeah.
So we go off in a random direction, right, for a while. And after a while, I determined, like, okay, we can't really see any trail. It's just more kind of bush. Like, we can see that mountain range there. We can sort of see that's where we need to go, which is a ways, but there's no clear path, right? And Jackson's probably hoping at this stage in his life that he's adopted. And that I'm like, okay, well, like, why is this so hard? Why is this being so difficult? So, I'm like, okay, let's go back. Back where? Like, where exactly are we going back to?
Where's back?
Right? Because, it's not like I dropped breadcrumbs or dropped a pin. So you know where this is going.
Oh, there you go. I got a feeling.
Within about an hour and a bit, I'm like, okay, I've like actually led us pretty poorly astray here. Because now everything's starting to look the same.
Yeah.
We don't know where we are relative to where we were. Of course, we have Onyx to find where our camp was. We don't know where our gear was. And like literally, we dropped 2 very hard to see packs in like swampy brush, which is kind of above it. So, probably not the best time for both of us.
No, not good.
And I like there's only a couple times in my hunting career where I've had a ball of anxiety form in my stomach. Yeah. I've been in some real rodeos and been in some pretty sketchy spots, like, solo January, February in Bittner Creek, a lot of solo goats out of Stewart, people have been in worse situations, like with bears and stuff. I've been fortunate in that those have been not as dramatic. But this one was like, okay, my super rational brain kicks in and I'm like, you have no rain gear, you have no food, you have no water, you have no shelter, you're in the middle of nowhere, you're like probably 8 or 9K from where you camped, but so what? You have no shelter, you have no food, you have no water. Like, it can get to -10 overnight. What are you gonna do, genius? You can't even start a fucking fire, right? So I'm like, okay. And Jackson's just kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
I'm just like blank faced. To be honest, I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, well, it's okay. We're gonna find our packs, and it's gonna be okay, Dad. But I'm like not saying anything because I just let Dad I just let him like let his anger out. So
he's probably like, okay, I understand that part of this is like highs and lows. Like, is it okay? So when can this end? When can we get to the next part of the story, right?
Yeah.
So then we have a little bit of a discussion as to like, okay, which way to go, right? And we have no idea where we are relative because everything looks the same. So I'm like, okay, let's go that way. Jackson, no, that doesn't look right. I'm like, okay, just trust me. Let's just go in this direction. So we go across one of these meadows and then see a bit of a game trail, which looks kind of familiar, except we have to cross over some marshy kind of like a little creek that I didn't quite recognize. But I'm like, okay, well, let's keep going. And then bang, like there's a blowdown and a stump. Then I'm like, okay, that tweaks a nerve. So kind of orient us. I'm like, okay, let's go that way a ways. So we break into a meadow. And then Jack is like absolutely certain that we need to go that way, like to the right. And I'm pretty damn sure that we need to go to the left. Which when you think back on, you're like, how can 2 people be so completely opposite?
So opposite. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I've had this. Yeah.
I'm like, Jack, just trust me. Let's go that way. He's like, he's like, okay. And I'm like, trying to be chill about it, but I'm like,
Mhm.
man, I better be fucking right.
I better be right this time. Yeah.
So we walk for a couple 100 yards, break into this meadow, and then like next thing you know, we see our packs. So I just walk up to it, sit down, like it's no big deal.
Yeah, that's what we do.
This is
So
kind
like,
of a
oh,
normal
have a
thing.
snack.
No, it was more like we just walked over to our packs in complete despair and like just complete defeat inside.
There's nothing to say. There's no need to talk right now. Right?
That's pretty much it. We
That's
ate,
pretty much it.
and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, holy.
Well, we sat there for like a good hour.
Probably about
a good hour and a
Probably
bit.
about that.
Oh my god.
Just
So
taking it
so
all.
we gather our stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's go back to where let's go back to camp where we camped. So we don't do a lot of talking, and the elk are bugling, and it's otherwise wonderful out.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, man, I did everything wrong today, and there's just no effing way I should be doing that. Like, I've done
Yeah.
way harder hunts in worse terrain, and that's the kind of mistake I made on my very first goat hunt. So we get back, set up camp, and I just tell Jack, I'm like, I gotta go for a walk. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, I just gotta go. Right. So he's like, where are you going, Dad? Like, I'm just like, I need to go
Take your pack.
for a walk. Yeah. So I go and sit down by the creek, and like I can get really wrapped up in pluses and minuses and things like that. And I'm just
Mhm.
trying to just, how do I get out of this negative well? And then so I sat there for a bit, and people, whatever, you can meditate, you can think about things, and then I just kind of let it sink in. I'm like, I'm sitting in front of a beautiful creek,
Mhm.
and the sun's shining, and the weather's good, and there's rams there, and like
Life's pretty good.
nothing really bad happened other than I made a bad mistake, which I know better, and I'm here with my son. And so, that's where you got to fall back on your faith. So, sometimes you need a bit of help. Doesn't matter how old you are or what you think you've accomplished. You need some help. So you just ask the right questions. So, I prayed for a bit, and I was like, look, get your shit together. You have everything you need to make this right.
Mhm.
So I went back, and, Jack's like just infinitely forgiving person and patient. So, we just settled back into it. I'm like, you know what? Let's eat. And so we queued up Fast and the Furious, and then I reached out to someone who's like just an incredible hunter. I'm like, hey, I need, so I just laid it out. I'm like, I need some help figuring out how to get there. Like, how do you this? How do you that? Da, 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 da. And he just came back and said, he's just like, don't worry about it. Just pick a heading and just go there. Just go.
Mhm.
He's like, you know what you're doing? Like, you know what to do. Don't worry about finding a trail or following this. Just go there. Just fucking do it. Just go.
Blazing.
Right. So I told Jack, I'm like, you know what? The next morning we got up. I'm like, we're just going to go straight to where we need to go. We're not going to fuck around. We're not going to, try to find some trail. And so, yeah, like it sucked. The suck knob was like at a 7.5 out of 10.
No, it was
Because-
good.
But we're, doing elevation change.
It was
but we
like
just
fine.
Did it. But we just did it.
Yeah, it was completely fine though because we were making really good time and we were like making really good ground and like it was hard, but I mean it was way better because it was way better than the day before.
Except
at
for
least
one
you were-
thing.
What?
It was piss and fucking rain.
I didn't mind that.
Well, so that's the whole thing, right? So like the rain started to roll in and it came down heavy, right?
Mhm.
So we just put our rain gear on and just literally, I'm taking a heading. That's where we're going.
Mhm.
Okay. So by 1:30, we were at kind of a spot that I was like, it's near a creek in there. I'm like, that's a good spot to stop.
Yeah.
So we got there and it was like, it was a bit chilly, but we're like huddled under a tree in our rain gear, having a good snack.
Mhm.
And we rested for about 45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, about
almost.
45
It
minutes,
gave
an
us about that. And I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. So we get going again, and we know we're making progress, and we again kind of know where we need to go. But we hit a point where we weren't quite sure right? Because there was like a nexus of which way to go.
There was a fork
Yeah.
in terms of where we could, where
And I said, okay, I'm just give me a moment. I'm gonna go check it out. So dropped the pack, went and looked. And but anyway, we figured it out. We made all the right. If there was a left and a right, we took the right spur every time. And next thing you know, I mean, I got a photo of it on my phone so I could see the time. You know, now like we've gained a lot of elevation and the valleys opened up, and like we got slopes on both sides of us, and the trees are getting a little thinner, a little bit shorter. But we, you know, like, where are we going to camp? Where are we going to camp? And we're getting tired, right? We've been going since early morning. It's like 4:30-ish, right? And then we just like walk into this small opening in the trees, and I'm just like, holy smokes. This is camp. There's like beautiful opening spot, like nice flat spot for the tent, and there was a dead elk head. There was a dead head.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Big 6x6, just laying there. I'm like, and this feeling comes over you that is like hard to explain. It's just like, it's like opening the door to like a luxury, you know, hotel. You're like, holy man, like, thank you for this. So we set up tent. But you know, Jackson, you know, he constantly kept saying, like, you know, I want to hurt, I want to be punished, I want to, you know, I want to. And what he means by that is like, he's sat there and heard stories from people that are my friends and like I've been through it, who have like really gone through some hardship out there. And so his whole thing is like, I'm sitting here and I'm counseling people. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you know, he wanted to earn it.
Yeah, I just wanted to experience it, and I just want to test myself and push myself. That was really it.
Well, yeah,
So,
I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, right?
Yeah.
So one of the funny pictures that we got is like, it is pissing rain. Like, it is like the photo, you can see long strings of water coming down, and he's wearing his prize rain gear that, you know, his uncle Benno gave him. And he just got the biggest smile on his face. He's like happy as a duck in water, right? Because like he's testing the rain gear and he's comfortable.
Yeah.
So anyway, we set up camp, and it was just a wonderful place to camp. And where we were, you know, the downside was that at about 1 a.m, the elk bulls just start bugling like crazy. So, you know, that first couple nights, you're just like, you're getting startled awake with them because you're always worried about other things. But like, I mean, at one point I got video, there's 4 bulls bugling against each other. Like, man,
That's awesome. Yeah, there's nothing beats that. Hey guys, just sorry to interrupt. I knew this was going to be an epic episode. We are already at an hour and a half, so we got about 20 some minutes, but there's options. If we go over, I may actually stop and start another live stream if we have to, but I just want to give you the heads up. We're closing quick. That's the only drawback.
I can see the time.
So
be mindful.
We can definitely bump it along. So that would have been, you know, so we landed there on the 9th. You know, we're now on the 13th. And so the next 3 days we're putting in a lot of hard hikes, covering like a lot of ground, you know, basing from there. And we're doing like full elevation hikes, getting, you know, sub-ridge line, you know, popping over, glassing every basin we can, glassing far, glassing close. And we are seeing sheep, and
we're seeing rams,
and we're having
nice rams.
We're having some frustrating days because, you know, we're having opportunities, but things aren't lining up. And it's not a product of, I wouldn't say, like, we're being very mindful. But the sheep in this area, they're not amateurs. Like, they have incredibly sharp eyes. You know, there was one time where we're at the base of a mountain, and like through the foliage, right?
It was like 600 yards line of sight.
We stop,
through
and
the
I'm like,
foliage.
holy shit, there's a ram up there. And kind of moved to like and he's looking straight down at us.
Yeah, could see us. Just could like was just beating eyes looking at us.
Yeah, and so we
Crazy.
didn't move, and then there were more rams there, and they just took off.
Yeah.
So like there were these frustrations. So we we get to was it the 16th?
It was so I mean the 15th and then the 16th were kind of like they were
Very much like that.
very long days in
Yeah.
terms of hiking. We saw rams, but we just had no success. But the 17th was like our last real like hunting day.
Yeah, because we were.
You had what, 2 days back to
That's
your
right.
depart-
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And I wanted some margin there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're tired, right? And he's having his his medication was bothering him. And I was like, my knee was bothering me, and like my guts weren't feeling good. I was just feeling tired and old. But we got up, going through the motions, and we start up a basin, and it broke left and right. And I just asked Jack, I'm like, you want to go left or right? And he says right. Okay, so we go up right, and we're working our way up that basin. We're about halfway up, and he's like, "Dad, rams." I'm like, look. And I look to the left, and I can see rams bedded like on a slope above that left drainage. So we drop down, we tuck in behind some foliage, and we're starting to pick them apart. And there's some good potential there for sure. And we felt really safe because we were behind foliage again, and the wind
Line of sight was again like 700,
Yeah.
800 yards.
Yeah.
So we were pretty far away, and
yeah, and they were bedded, and
Yeah.
we were behind stuff, and and we're looking at them, and I'm like assessing them, and I'm like, man, there was a really good one.
there's a couple really
Yeah.
really nice rams there. Like they were really heavy.
So Jack said, he's
Beautiful.
like, should we move up? And I was like, well, I don't want to get busted, but we do need to move up if he wants to make a shot. And we had the phone scope set up on them, and I mean, like they're like way, so we're down over here and they're way up over here, but like the drainages are going up this way.
Okay.
And there was a shift in the wind,
Mhm.
and then they were gone.
Oh,
And
shit.
so I was like, man, I knew that ram was a good one. I should have just got him moved into position, got too comfortable, and blew it,
Yeah.
And so, every morning, Jack is like, let me see your phone.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm like, oh
Yep.
gosh. So he's reviewing the rams
All
from the
the
first
pictures,
day
yeah.
and second day, right? And I know it's going through his head. And he's like, not saying a word. He's like freeze framing it. He's like, oh yeah, those were legal, right? Counting them and stuff.
Yeah.
So here I am on the 17th, and and we're going through the motions, and I'm just like, man, you know what? I've made so many mistakes on this hunt. Like, I feel like I've robbed him of the opportunity, because look, armed hiking's fun. It's great. It's
Mhm.
rewarding, but we are, we're like success driven, right?
Mhm.
Sorry,
For sure.
that's how it is. And so we hit a point where we had gone up, and we're on kind of a saddle, and we're glassing, and then I just felt like this heaviness, and he did too.
Mhm.
He was really tired. And so again, I'm just like looking over the landscape, and I'm like, look, this is the last freaking day. And I'm looking around, and then there's this, like, you got to do there's this other, like a peak, about a kilometer and a bit from us, that looks down into another bowl. And I'm just like, we need to get up there. It doesn't make any sense. It's a lot of work, but at a minimum, we'll have left it. We'll have gone out on our shields. If we go down, get up there, and can glass on the other side, right?
Sure.
And I said, let's go down. Let's hike up there and have a look on the other side. Jack's like, yeah, okay. So we bomb down, work our way up, which takes a little while, and then
Took like 45 minutes.
yeah. And I'm like, I want to glass down the other side, right? So we get up there, and I'm like, I'm gonna go glass over there.
Super steep. That
Yeah,
was
it was.
really, really steep.
Yeah. So I'm creeping over and I'm glassing, and then I can't remember if you waved at me or you came over.
No, we were sitting beside each other.
Or were we?
We were just sitting right beside each other, just glassing. It was
So I'm
quite
looking
gloomy
over
out.
here, and he's looking over here, and he's like, "Dad, sheep, rams."
Well, I'm looking like 3 mountain ranges away.
3 ranges over, right? So I'll throw the spotter on it, and boom, there's 7 rams.
No,
There was 7.
It was 7?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and there's that one
I
ram.
don't remember.
So we disagree a little bit on this, but it is the same group of rams that we saw that second day up on the mountain,
It was the
Which is-
same mountain that
which is why
Yeah,
I wanted to
probably
go over
was the same Rams then. Yeah.
it was the
they
same
were.
mountain. Yeah.
So literally spent maybe 4 or 5 minutes looking at him. I'm like, let's fucking go. We got to get the fuck down into the
Well,
valley
because it was
floor.
4 p.m.
Yeah.
and so they were about 4.5 kilometers away, I think, wasn't it?
No, it was over 5 as a crow flies,
Yeah.
straight line.
Mm-hmm.
So like we ran like demons. Bomb down the mountain, cross the valley, get in the foliage, and you know, we're short on time, but it was a non-stop sprint.
Yeah, we were going as fast as we.
And I
Really
was
could
like,
go.
leave nothing a chance. Like I'm like, we are not crossing any meadows, nothing. We're going through the
timber.
timber, and then at one point I'm like, okay, we're gonna go straight up and over on the backside of the mountain range that they're on. Take us there, and then you know we get like, so they're you imagine like a big drainage, and then there's a slope here,
They're feeding in the timber.
and then there's like, here's the mountain peak, and we're on the backside of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Right.
creep up and around and look down. We can't see anything, but the wind.
Oh, the wind was extremely harsh.
Yeah, like coming uphill, right? So that's a good thing,
Mhm.
but we don't know where they are. So we creep over onto the face, and then we're like crab scooching, butt scooching down, and there's like an alder bush, and I'm like, okay, they've got to be kind of, let's keep that alder bush. Let's go right for that alder bush. So we get there, and I'm like, you know, he's right beside
Well,
me, just like
I
this.
kind of knew where they were. I
We had a better
I had
sense.
a really good idea of where they were in the timber because they
Mhm.
could not have gone far.
Yeah.
And they just kind of went over the little ridge or the, I don't know what's that. That was kind of a ridge, right?
Yeah,
They went over-
that's right.
They just went over a little ridge and we're still like in the timber. And then we got to that bush. And
So we're at the bush, okay, and I'm literally doing like, you know, like the trench coat pervert, like kind of like spreading like,
Through
you know,
the
and I'm like,
neighbor's fence.
yeah, I'm like where are they? So Jack like literally goes on the other side, and he comes up, he's like, "They're right there." I'm like, where?
They're close.
They're
Wow.
right fucking there.
they were like within 200 yards, like down in the timber, like they were bedded down in like dead ball.
Yeah, so there was a,
Oh,
there
no
was a few
shit.
deadfalls there,
Wow.
and they decided to bed down right there. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man. Oh, so then I can see them,
It was really steep.
and all I can see is the tops of their heads turning. I'm like, oh, this is a disaster. Like now we're too close, and they're bedded down.
Too close. It was too steep. I can't like can't make a prone shot. Like there's really no way I could. There's no real easy way to make a shot on them.
So he's like,
At
Dad,
that
what do we
angle.
do? I'm like, okay, we need to back up a bit and go get over by that tree. So like, you know, back up and get a vantage on them. So we're
Mhm.
butt scooching, kind of
Well, crab,
diagonally
sort of butt
backwards
scooching, like crab
Crab
walking with
walking.
your gun like hanging around your neck,
on your
kind of
Yeah.
swinging
Yeah.
with the sling is
So
really uncomfortable.
so then there was like a little bit of a dip, and he stops, and I kind of bump into him. He's like, what do I do? I'm like, get up there, like get going. And then I just happened to look down in the drainage, and I see 2 rams.
It kind of makes a U shape, like
Yeah,
they're-
well,
they're
it drops
like
down and goes up the other side,
Yeah.
and I see 2 rams walking on a sheep trail out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh
Get
shit.
ready.
They got, somehow they busted.
They busted.
Like they busted us. I'm like, Jack, look. And they go up and over, and there was like a good one in there. Then we see 3 coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like glassing. I'm like, the front one. He's like, give me a range. I'm like, I said 270. He's like, no, I need fucking MOA. So I'm like, 270 is like what is it, 1.9?
It was 1.9 MOA. So then it was.
Except it's like steep. So
Mhm.
then I look at him, and
Or
he's,
it was 0.9 MOA.
was it 0.9? Yeah.
So I dialed 1.
So then I watch him.
1 MOA.
So he's like kind of posting, like trying to like support himself. He's got nothing to rest the gun on. He's like fucking with his bipod.
Yeah.
And he ends up like extending one leg. He's got the Gunworks bipod, so it extends out to what, 19 inches?
Extended up to the full 19 inches in height. Kind of laying back on the mountain, and I'm left-handed, so it's just not really comfortable because I'm a right-handed.
He's
like,
got
hand with
one
everything.
bipod leg on his foot.
Yeah.
And then I shift down the mountain to like see where the rest of the sheep are, because there's 7 of them, and I can't see them. And I look back,
And they're moving up, like they're just moving up the mountain. Like another 10 seconds, they would have just been gone. So
and I didn't know, but the lead ram stopped, and the one behind him got in front of him. So I'm like, it's the front one. He's like, no, it's the middle one. I'm like, okay, like, and then he's like getting ready, and I'm just like, this is not a fair chance for him. Like
No,
we
fast.
worked our asses off to get here, and this is what we get dealt with now. And we didn't. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we didn't do anything wrong. Like, we were upwind, uphill, under foliage. But again, they're experienced rams. All it takes is a little bit. Lead ram gets up, and they move.
Yeah.
And so I take a quick look at Jack, and he is like in the most awkward, basically offhand position, supported by one bipod leg.
yeah, yep.
And he
Well,
shoots.
That was it.
And so I look, and nothing happens. And then I see I'm used to this, and I'm like, the echo that is going to happen in front of them. So they often turn. I've seen it happen more than once. So the 3 of them turned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get ready, and then one falls over.
Nice.
And so I'm looking at him, and I just see him turn. I'm like, Jack, he's down. He's down. And he's like, he's down. I'm like, yeah, get on him. He's like, he's twitching. I'm like, he's dead. He's down. So then we're like, oh yeah. We're hugging and stuff, and then next words out of my mouth is like, I sure hope you shot the right fucking ram.
Wow, what a gong show! Like, you think about it,
I was like,
I've been in that
scared about
awkward
the ram
position
that I
to
was
shoot.
looking at.
He was on it. He was on
Like, you could just, it was very easy to tell just with how big the bases were, and like I could just see the drop was so low and it was going up so high. So I was like, that's the one that I was looking at the whole time. But when he kind of was like, it's the front one, I was like, that's not the front one. There's no way it's the front one. But I was like second guessing myself. But I'm very
you
glad
made the big choice, obviously.
You can see the weak link in the chain through this whole hunt here, who that was. Okay.
I wasn't going to say anything.
So we hustle back,
Yeah.
grab our packs, and then the whole walk down. He's like, "Oh, I sure hope." I'm like, "Okay, we'll see when we get there, right?"
Everybody does that.
You get all
Jack.
get all
Everybody
these
does that.
scenarios in your head,
Yeah.
and then we picked up the same sheep trail, but like they had kind of wandered off from there. So anyway, long story short, we kind of break up on the ridge. He's like, "Where is he? Where is he? Is he gone? Did he get up?" I'm like, "No, he's going to be above us." So we get there, and as we get closer to him, I was just like awestruck. I was just like, "This is why you hunt late season sheep." He must have said. He just
It
got
was
the
amazing.
same thing.
What a beautiful animal.
He just said that he must have
They're
said
incredible,
that.
aren't they?
They're just incredible.
Unbelievable.
Just
Yeah.
the coat, especially in like the later season, like how thick the coat is and like the color, how dark and like rich the color is. Amazing.
His hair was like at least 4 inches long.
Just
Right?
incredible.
So I regret not taking a side shot of him to get that, but it's just the way he was laying. So, and it was hard to keep him from rolling downhill. So I managed to get a couple of shots. So we took the shot that is on the promo where he's smiling and he's like, "Hey Dad, take another one." I'm like, "Stoic?" He's like, "Yeah, stoic."
Yeah, I gotta have
Yeah.
So we dragged him down, and like next thing you know, it's like freaking just about midnight, 11:30, and we
10:30 we got it done.
get him, get
10:30
it
was
all
all
packed
done.
up, and then we start down the mountain, and from there it was about 8K to camp.
Wow.
So,
Lot
but
of
what we
stuff,
didn't
yeah.
realize was that whole valley. So we crossed at the narrow spot and into the timber,
Yep.
but the next 5 or so K is just pure marsh.
Just the shittiest marsh.
no.
Shit show.
Not fun. It was great. It was pretty good though.
Well,
I mean,
you know
the night
what? This hunt just absolutely deserves a shit show of a pack out. Like, it absolutely had to be, and it wouldn't make the story if it wasn't shitty. But
So from there it was just work.
yeah,
So it was about a 2.5 day hike.
Oh, you're missing the
back.
one part in the marsh.
Oh man, I went for a swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
well, I'll
all
tell you
good.
what. Let's hold that part for the next time we get you guys on, and we'll unpack the dirty laundry on it.
Yeah.
How's that? That sounds fun.
But we got a draw to do, don't we? I mean, we got to.
draw.
We do, but first of all, we've got time to do it. I just want to say, Jackson, congratulations. Absolutely, hammer of a story. Beautiful ram. You guys, I mean, that's 10 years of sheep hunting in one sheep, well, 2 sheep hunts, I guess. So congratulations for sticking it out. It's pretty obvious when you put the 2 of you guys together, sitting side by side, telling the story. Like the one thing I wanted to ask, and it's already been obvious, but you guys spend so much time together, literally 24/7, 365, running a business together, sharing a tent together. I just want to ask Jack, because I know where he's at. He's been, there's some emotions in here on this whole story, but what's it like for you to do this with your father?
I'm just glad. I mean, like, he's always worked since I was like young. So I guess like subconsciously, I always just wanted to like work with my dad to kind of give back all the time that when I was younger I couldn't spend with him. So that's sort of what it's like for me. I'm just glad to do it.
That's awesome. Well, Omer, I got to tell you, man, congratulations on raising such a stand-up guy. I mean, Jack he's literally one of my favorite humans. I mean, I love stopping in and talking to you, but there'll be a day when it's going to be Jackson, taking all the stories and all the visitors. So you got your succession plan mapped out, and a lot of people don't have that in their business, and you guys are really lucky. You're a great team, and it's just awesome working with you guys, and hearing this story just it does it for me. Thank you very much. All right. Well, what do you say? Should we give away a gun?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. So we had some epic stories in this contest, and we had a lot of them. And it was interesting when I go back. I remember having the chat with you, Omer, early last year about doing some sort of a contest, and you basically said, what if I give you a rifle, you figure out something cool to do with it. And it took me a little time, and I came up with the Story of the Year contest. And I was not expecting this many entries. We had over 50 stories in there. You did make a comment. Yeah. Oh, did you? Yeah. It was unbelievable, and everyone is special. And you said something to me. I think the comment you made when I suggested Story of the Year, you texted me and you said, "There's going to be a lot, and they're going to be epic. So this is cool. I can't wait to see them." And that was exactly it. We had a heck of a time going through the stories. For those that are wondering how we got to selecting a winner, I enlisted help from several people, and I'm just looking at my notes so people can hear what I'm saying. I had people with different backgrounds. I had professional journalists, I had hunters, Spike Camp members, people that are friends that I trust and trust their judgment and respect. I also had non-hunters outside of the platform that have no skin in the game in the hunting, or no skin in the game as far as Spike Camp or the space at all. And after all of it, it boiled down to 2 stories. There was 2 stories that stood out, but there was one that crossed the finish line by literally a nose. If this was a horse race, it was a head by a nose. And this story, much like tonight's show, is about a young hunter taking his first ram with his father. And the winner of the Story of the Year contest is the story called Someday, written by Ronnie Dirksen. Incredible story. I don't know if Ronnie's still on the show. He's driving north, ironically, to go on a winter elk hunt with his kids. So I'm sure he'll find out sooner or later here.
He's in my comments. Ronnie Dirksen?
Yeah.
Is he commenting?
It
My comments.
was a fantastic story, Ronnie. That one really landed. I'm sure everybody that read it really.
Oh, he's in Yale. He's in Yale listening in his truck. Pulled over. Awesome. All right, buddy. Well, you know how to find me. Good luck on your hunt. I got your gun sitting in the safe. I'll take care of it. So Ronnie's the winner.
That's awesome.
Now, one of the things Blake and I learned in this in this contest is you have to kind of you got to recognize the people that maybe, didn't have a long story or don't have, I guess, the skill set to write a really, really compelling story, but their story is still important, and whether they could express it or not. So we're going to do some bonus prizes here. First of all, I want to shout out the number 2 story, again, by just a fraction.
Yeah.
The number 2 story was also extremely good, very well written. And that story is The Journey to 511 by Connor Reeves.
Yeah.
You guys got to read these stories if you haven't. It's an incredible story, very well written. Connor is a very experienced guy, and it's a tale of another new sheep hunter. It's fantastic. And Connor, I have a prize for you as well. This is a Tarp 5 from Hilleberg. So I'm going to make sure I get that out to you. And then finally, I've got 2 bonus gifts that Blake has pulled while we were chatting tonight. Blake pulled a couple of winners a couple of random draw winners out of the list of stories that were submitted. So first of all, let's see, Lyle Litkey. I have a Frontiersman Gear passport wallet made out of bison leather.
Nice.
So I don't know if you want to go down south and visit Mr. Trump, but maybe you can go somewhere in the tropics and flash your Frontiersman Gear passport wallet. And then the last gift I'm going to toss in the mix here. This one goes to Mary Scott. This is also a really cool story. It's about a limited entry bighorn sheep hunt. And I'm actually, teaser, I'm going to have Mary and her husband coming on to do a live stream here in the next few weeks. I just got to schedule a time with them. But for you guys, I have a moose call from my buddy Brogan. I think he was on the show tonight, Brogan Didier.
Cool.
One of the best artists on the planet. These calls work great. I called in a whole bunch of moose on Blake's hunt last year, and we killed one. So I'm going to get these prizes out to you guys. So, oh yeah, that's one last look for those of you. This is the rifle. Beautiful rifle. We got a minute, Omer. I think we got a couple minutes left maybe here. Yeah, I got about a minute. Can you tell us what about this rifle? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's a 7mm Backcountry Fierce Rogue with a Burris Veracity PH 4-20 scope. All 3 of those things are I'm very fond of. I love the 7mm Backcountry caliber. I love the Fierce Rogue, and that scope is remarkable. So the combination's great. Ronnie, I hope you have a lot of fun with it and build some amazing memories. I mean, you already have a huge memory bank of wonderful things, but it's a great rig. It's a lot of fun.
100%. It's
Awesome.
a dream rig.
Well, this was such a fun contest. We're going to have to talk because this looks like it should be an annual thing. We got to give some cool shit away all the time on Spike Camp.
So.
And generate this content, man. It's been incredible. I just want to say again to you guys, Omer, you were the first guy I called when I was looking for someone to help me support this platform, and you've been with us since day one. Like I think you were in like the first 10 or 12 members that we had on the platform, and you've been there for us all the way through. And Jack, you're just an awesome dude, man. I love you both, and thank you very much for your support.
Feelings mutual here.
Yeah, thanks for building this community, Chuck. Like you're building something that's just incredible, and I think everybody here appreciates it very much. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. It's really nice to see it coming along, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the shows. By the way, I'm looking for some skulls to mount on my rack at our show. I'm going to try and get some sheep skulls hanging on our rack. So if you guys happen to know anybody with a Euro and you want to display it, we'll be in Penticton. So let me know. Anyway,
awesome.
See you guys soon. And thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. And thank you again for participating in the Story of the Year contest. We'll see if we can make it even bigger this year. Thank you. Be safe and have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you guys so much.
See ya.
Thank you guys so much.